right, welcome to the Dragon's Tome. I am your host, Chopper, and joined as always are the two semi-good-looking gentlemen to my left and right.
I'm, I'm, I'm offended, but
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jack.
I'm Rob.
And we are looking over Dragon Magazine, issue number 114, October of 1986? Question mark?
86, yes.
86. No more question marks. So here we are. David Martin, cover artist this time around.
Spirit of the Night.
Have we seen a David Martin cover before?
I don't remember. Probably, but finally a Halloween cover for on Halloween.
Yes. Does anyone recognize anything on this? Or is it just me?
That head looks very familiar.
It's the fresco, or what do you want to call that when the statue comes out of the wall?
I believe that's a fresco.
Well, all right, we'll call it a fresco for now. But this is the fresco from the Tomb of Horrors.
Makes
Roughly.
sense.
I mean, David might disagree with me, but it's very, very close.
Yeah, I recognized it. That's why I was like, I know that's something.
So,
Well, I've got to say, this is probably one of my favorite covers.
I do like this one.
Well, it's because you're renowned for liking naked ladies.
Well, no.
I didn't even.
You're
I didn't
not
even go
renowned
there.
for naked ladies, Jack?
Well, she's not naked,
She's definitely clothed.
but also, yeah, she is fully clothed.
I mean, she's wearing a Kleenex, but short.
But also, when they've got a lot of the stuff that's hard to do in art, object source lighting down at the bottom, the combination of the hard stone with the soft material, making something look sheer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see like her undergarments through the veil. Like you can see the straps of her bra or shirt or whatever it is. You can see the belt.
Brazil.
You can see her skin through there, and it's just a very
Got a good muscle tone.
technically highly proficient, almost like if you wanted to choose all the hardest things to do while you were making art and went, I'm going to do it all in one painting.
It's a very good looking moon too.
Yeah, I've got no complaints. This is just a very, very, like I said, technically, and I can't say enough how much I like this.
I do. It's like it's up there. Top 10.
Yeah, like you can see the straps over her shoulder and then the muscle underneath what is made to look like it's sheer.
You're wiry.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. I don't know what she's doing with her hands though. Is she praying? What is she doing?
I think she's praying, yeah, because it's the Spirit of the Night is the name of it. She also has a pallor. She looks very vampiric. The pallor is not natural.
That's true. She's very grayish, but I don't know if that's due to the nightlight and the moon behind her.
Oh, that my assumption was that it was because of the lighting that the coloring was a bit off. But Rob, are you saying that she is the titular spirit of said night?
I think, yeah, I think she is some kind of.
You might be onto something.
It might be.
The only thing that leads me to believe that might not be true is the doves, but they are flying. But they're flying away.
I don't think
they're not bats.
I think they're bats.
No,
they might be owls. Oh.
Could be owls.
So look at their angle of their wings. Some of those are definitely bat-like wings.
They're not.
A couple of them are, but some of them do look like. What if they're sturges?
Oh, Rob has some PTSD.
No. Let's move
they
on.
Might be sturges.
let's move on.
All right, we talked about sturgeons enough. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on then. I feel like we should start with Rob because I'm sure he's got some kind of editorial comment today.
I do, because it's this one's a guest editor of Roger Moore.
All right, what page is that?
It's on page 5. He's guest editoring on this because he's clearing up some. I guess some guy went to San Diego Comic-Con and impersonated him.
I did read this. This was funny.
And Yeah, he even got on panels talking about TSR legal stuff and ran tournaments and all this stuff.
It just went full bore. I am Roger Moore,
Yeah.
and I will be running San Diego Comic Con.
And then Roger was obviously stunned in even more so that the reason he found out about this is the guy who did it wrote to him to like gloat / ask for a job at TSR. And he's just like, yeah, our legal department's on this because that's illegal. So, and so poor Roger had to go mend some bridges. And at the end, he also tells a story about a woman who pretended to be Sandy Peterson of Call of Cthulhu fame, who's
that's funny.
who's a portly gentleman, not a not a lady.
He is definitely not. You could never mistake him for a woman.
Yeah, so it's not the
Oh, the
first time.
cojones of that guy. That
Yeah.
guy. When I read that, I was like, oh my god.
Well, hopefully they threw the book at him and
The sad thing. This is probably only possible because pre-internet.
oh yeah, well that's what they say. There's to not to jump ahead on another thing, but they eventually do I don't think it's in this issue, but they do a profile of Roger E. Moore eventually, just so his face is out there, so people know what he looks like.
There have always been, crackpots. This is wild. Why would you?
Pretty extreme. Well, because they got into San Diego Comic Con and were treated like a VIP for free. So that's also like nowadays you can never do that because it'd be like, well, no, you're not scheduled. You're not, it's not like you can just walk in. Like obviously San Diego Comic Con at this point was pretty small. Imagine trying to do that nowadays. There'd be so many vetting, and you'd have to, like you said, they didn't even ask him for ID. They just assumed it was him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
not even a picture ID. Not even you couldn't even show a driver's license. Even driver's license back then had pictures on them.
Yeah, like, and that's what he said. It'd be an easy solution. Just ask for ID. But that's how small this con must have been at the time, San Diego Comic Con, because
it's true.
The guy wasn't scheduled. Like he wasn't supposed to be there, and obviously nobody else from TSR was there because they would have been said that's not Roger Moore.
Can you imagine what San Diego Comic Con was back in '86 compared to what it is now?
Oh, I'm sure it's just about comic books.
Yeah, it was still about comic books then, not movies.
You think it was premeditated that he went and said, "I'm going to do this," or he was there, something happened, he just went, "Oh yeah."
I think him and his buddies were sitting around in line for the will call to get their badges, and then they saw someone famous go up and get in right away. And they were like, "We should pretend to be famous." And he goes, "Well, I'll be Roger Moore."
Yeah,
the guy's name might even be Roger Moore because that's a very common.
Could be.
That's true. Maybe even did show his ID and it was Roger Moore, so it's true.
And they went, "Oh, from the magazine?" And he went,
"From TSR, baby. You know me. I wrote an article or two that we've discussed."
Wow.
We're going to put you on a panel. And his buddies are like, "Oh,
yeah, why don't you tell us all about what's happening in TSR?"
Yeah, and I guess it was like a legal panel too. So, and things at this point, no spoilers for next issue, but things are getting a little dicey on the legal side to TSR at this point. So I can only imagine the questions he was answering and was the lies he was spreading. So that was my article.
All right, Jack, what do you got for me?
Okay, let's go to page 34, please.
34.
Many kinds of money.
There's one of those letterheads again.
Yes, many kinds of money. One man's cash, maybe another man's trash. Basically, this guy starts with a premise that, hey, all of Dungeons and Dragons has the same currency. It's a gold piece. And the first thing I'm going to ask you guys, because he kind of does have this as a starting off point. Did you ever think that the gold pieces or the copper pieces in the game were just a disc of that particular metal?
I did.
Well, yeah. I guess I never really thought about it, but
because we're all in agreement, it was just kind of a placeholder for, unless you in the game specifically.
I should reiterate, I did think it was maybe not a round disc, like you saw old Roman coins.
Okay.
A weighted, weighted piece of metal, roughly the same weight a piece, but stamped with some kind of emblem.
Okay. because then he does go on to talk about, well, most coins have something, you know, the face of a ruler or something embossed
Mhm.
on it, or in relief or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, I was like, oh well, in D&D, yeah, I guess because no matter where you go, this stuff spends the same. No
Yeah.
matter
I thought
in
Roman coin looking. That's where my head was
But
going.
it has to be a legit value. It's not like money nowadays, which just has a perceived value, right? It must have a
Yeah.
real value if it's being able to be taken anywhere. So a gold piece is worth this much gold because it's what it is, right?
Yeah,
because
or
it's
it
a
weighs this much, and
Hmm.
that's how much this much gold weighs or is worth
I
when it
guess
weighs
that's the
this
only way it
much.
would work. I just never thought about it because it's the whole system's ridiculous. Because if you had that much gold in your pocket or anywhere on your body, you wouldn't be
You
able to
would not.
move.
Yeah, your pants would be at your ankles.
Yeah, like gold is freaking heavy. Like if you've ever touched like lifted a gold
A
bar,
real gold brick.
it's
Yeah, like if you
freaking
go to the
ridiculous.
U.S. Treasury, they have a gold bar you can pick up, and
Yeah,
it's
it's not light. Yeah, so I always assumed it was an ethereal thing. Anyways, it didn't really matter. So
right. So the article goes on to I know the guy's name's David something,
David
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 Baker.
Baker or
David
something. I don't
S.
know.
Baker, yes.
It's hard to read. Again, why did they go format this magazine like this? I don't.
This is the new improved format. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, and it's unreadable. But he goes on to say, like, oh, scarcity of things would make things more valuable. So it, it goes on to why paper money would be a thing because gold weighs so much, and stuff like
Paper
that.
money never came around until like the 1800s. Like it's
He
not like
gives
a thing.
fantasy. He gives fantasy reasons why it would and how it would. A couple of them, like, oh well, imagine this. You needed it,
Yeah, think it back.
as a
Like as a hindsight is 2020. Obviously, paper money makes more sense, but they never did it because it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, plus the different kingdoms, just because your
Wow.
paper money
Well,
weighs this
that's
much is worth this much gold doesn't mean it's gonna be that much gold in
it's
Oompa
worth
Loompa
nothing.
land.
It's literally worth nothing if you go one town over. So
Yeah.
Yes. So that what this is basically the article of different things about currency and whatnot, and an interesting read, interesting thought experiment on how you could, in a fantasy world, make changes to money to make it seem a little more lived in. And at the end of the day, just made me question what I thought of the currency system as I knew it as a young lad in Dungeons and Dragons.
the most logical one is the Chinese with the holes in the middle, so you could string them. That's the logical way of having money. So you just put it on a string.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. I guess it falls to me then.
It does.
Let's go to page 11.
the witch.
The Witch.
They already had a
Oh,
witch.
yes. So this basically is a revised visit to the NPC class that we covered many, 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 many articles. So as I was reading this,
Does it say what issue? 43. It's a while ago.
did it say? I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I didn't write it down. So it was a
November
long time ago.
1980. Six
And
years ago.
And I think at the time we weren't super hip on the class itself. It was there were some things we liked about it, but I think in the general consensus that it was, meh.
Again, it was an NPC class with everything to make it a player.
PC class,
Yeah,
exactly.
And there were some things we did like, hey, that we should probably change the nomenclature of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah,
But for
yeah.
the most part, the assumption was, yeah, you'd
Oh, I
want
do
to
like the names
play
on
it
this one
now.
better. The level
Yeah.
titles would make much more sense now. Because
Well,
didn't it have like
that being-
voodoo and like it was mixing all different things, I think, back in the day?
That being said, this revision looks like everyone had their hands in making this
Yeah.
class. Like it was like many people put around. I will say it seems a little bit better for the wear since the last article. Like there's some things that are new that I think is like they have candle magic now where they can enchant candles
That's
to
cool.
cast a spell, and I think this time around too they can make scrolls, whereas I think in the last version they weren't allowed to make, or didn't have the option to make scrolls. Again, going back to last episode's discussion, this article was made exceptionally long by spell descriptions. And I'm not sure, and again, I'm going to reiterate, I'm not sure why they keep doing this other than to waste space. because if you are reading Dragon magazine, 99% of those people probably have the books with these spells in them.
Yeah, well, they just
You could just make a list. You don't have to give the description of all the spells.
they're like, it has this monster, this spell, and this was. It's like, yeah, we know. Okay, you just
Yeah,
have to give the name. You don't have to tell what the spell
like
is.
you could have stopped on page 14 and just left it at that.
It is a very long article when you add all those spells in.
Yeah, it's so.
And it's not like it says they're restricted. It basically says you should direct this character. We're directing you towards these spells, and I would have thought for brevity, a list of the spells that they have as an NPC would be a far more useful.
Especially since they're not a character class, so the only reason you do this is if it's clear class.
if your player wants to have the mobility to make a witch of a certain type, they could make these changes.
But you don't need the descriptions and explanations because these are all in the player's handbook,
right?
Or unearthed arcana, not unearthed arcana.
Yeah. So if your NPC wants to pick a
Tomb of Magic
spell,
it was that second edition. Was Tomb of Magic second edition?
Yeah. Tomb of Magic wasn't out yet.
All right. So, but like I said, if you are reading Dragon magazine, there is probably 0.1% of those readers that didn't have all the books that would do these spells in them.
You know what Bless does. You can look up Charm. You can see what Mending is. You don't need
Detect Invisibility. I mean, these are all generics that everyone knows. Does she have Magic Missile? I need to look.
No. It's a lot of Charm and those. It's
Fairy Fire. I mean, everyone knows a
Find
Fairy
Familiar,
Fire.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Unseen Servant, that was always a good one to use.
Like
I don't know.
To have Charm such a long description for Charm, it's like, no, that's dumb. You know what Charm
I could have filled those 4 pages up with something else a little more entertaining.
Once again,
we've gotten rid of the Ares section. There's no more sci-fi, so there's all that room.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of, I don't know, tighten it up.
We forgot to mention last issue. I alluded to it, but they did fill like a bunch of pages where they cut out dragons. So that's
was that last issue?
Yeah.
Oh, the cardboard dragon, paper mache building thing.
Jack rushed me through. I never got to talk about it. So Jack rushed me through the episode.
Who cares?
Because
I'm not gonna lie, it looked cool.
Now you're lying.
We could have made fun of it.
The cardboard dragon looked cool. I mean, I wouldn't make it.
Technically, the witch here is a special attraction in this book, eh? Instead of just being an article, like it's because they're like, well, we have to have a special attraction. It's $3.50.
I think if I remember reading this thing, there's like 4 people had their hands in making this
at least
character class. Yeah, I'm going to call it a character class because that's what it is.
It was Bill Mulhausen article, revised and edited by Kim Mohan and Tom Moldvay. And then the further version expanded and revised by Roger E. Moore and edited by Karen Martin, Robin Jenkins.
Is it the real Roger E. Moore or the guy from San Diego Comic-Con that got his hand on this thing?
And Kim did it again. So it's been edited like 4 times. So
yeah, it's and I guess, and like I said, I think it seems better than the last one, but I think like someone who's edited this could have said, you know what, let's just make a spell list instead of descriptions.
Yeah.
But then
I think maybe I'm in the minority here. It sounds like there's a lot of people there who have vested interest in having witches in D&D. All the big heavy hitters are there working on it for 6 years.
Oh, I don't think it's a horrible class.
Maybe there's something behind the scene that I just was going on there that maybe they had a witch heavy.
My biggest complaint about this article is how long it is because of a list of spells.
I don't have the original one. Is this Bill Mulhausen? Is that the original author of the original article, and they've just revised it? So this is actually based off that article, or is it?
What issue was it?
43.
All right, give me a couple secs. But why don't you go your next article, Rob?
Okay, we're gonna go to page 5. 5 to the letters. It's once again talked about. This one's where it starts about 2nd edition. People getting scared that prospects 2nd edition making all their current editions worthless. Welcome to the future, because that's what happens. 2nd edition doesn't really make. I remember using 1st edition with 2nd edition. It's close enough. Dave Cook, who writes second edition, said that the basics of AD&D won't change, just clearing stuff up, which makes sense. That's what second edition was. And he does say that there will eventually be a second edition version of Unearthed Arcana and Oriental Adventures. That does not happen. So
No.
it's for some reason they do not do that, but there is a lot of books in second edition. So
All right. Well, who was the question was who wrote it originally?
yeah, Bill Malhausen.
It was the guy who wrote it originally, and then the original version was revised and edited by Kim Mohan and Tom Moldvay again.
Yeah, so that was the original. So it's been only revised once since then. So
Okay.
So it was written, revised and edited, then
For
now
that
rewritten,
And then
then revised and edited.
again.
well, I don't think it was rewritten. I think they just took the original article and just revised it themselves. I don't think Bill Mulholland had anything to do with this new version.
Whoever did the last revision is the guy who would be the author of that. Like, did it even say?
Yeah, it said Bill Mulholland was the author, but I think it's just because he wrote the original Earth, and it's just been edited to hell. Anyways, yeah. So second edition is coming. People are scared, and they have a whole response by Zeb Cook to
Nice.
say, "Hey, don't worry, settle down."
Don't worry. Zeb got you covered.
And the thing is that there's been no like some properties and some things now, like you've been burnt enough times that you're got to be wary, and
GW.
yeah, but like you know that their track record is awful or whatever. D&D TSR at this point you'd think they'd be looking and I'm sure the vast majority are the vocal majority
Looking forward to the new version.
there's been nothing so far. They haven't released junk or tried to fleece their
Well, Dungeoneer and Wilderness just did come out, so they did release something.
Yeah. And this is the start. The Wilderness Guide is the start.
There was a lot of hate towards Unearthed too. So I think there is like a feeling like, well, maybe it isn't going the right way, but the tide is turning because a certain Mr. Gygax is I don't see him. Is he? His name is nowhere on this. Is he in the masthead? Let's look.
You see the masthead? I will say thanks for not going over the psionic and combat letter.
No, I refuse to talk about psionics.
Oh,
yeah, no, it's funny. There's no Gygax in the masthead at all. That's weird. So, yeah, that was the letters. Don't worry, second edition is gonna be better, boys. Settle your pedals.
Okay, Mr. Fike, what do you got for me?
well then, let's go to page 8, if we could be so bold as to follow me, and we're gonna take a look at
The
the
forum.
bottom right hand corner. Okay, so the letter's split in two. The second part that's on page 95 is not worth going to, so I can't even attribute to who wrote this letter in to the forum. But what it says is
It's
that
Mark Nemeth from Ridgecrest,
Mark.
California.
He's got an opening blurb. Okay, yeah, whatever. Second paragraph. However, the new typeface is honestly the most disgusting, unreadable one I've ever encountered. And I would agree. It is a step down from what it was before in the magazine. He goes on to ask why there's a black or gray box over all the titles.
Pretty
and why
much
are they
all the things we've been
written-
complaining about.
And he's right. He's right. Even with the scans we have that make the the resolution
Makes it
or
worse,
the readability is off. Even at the time, it was like, why are you making them all look the same with the same font and the same border around it? And he just says, hey, can you just kind of like mix up the typefaces and make the titles look,
Readable.
yeah. And yeah, he kind of says about the readership survey, yeah, about how Kim Mohan, took some things from it, but and the questions that they asked, but he was like, maybe one of the questions should be, how about making the magazine readable? So yeah, I agree with everything that he said. It was a step down from its previous, and I don't know, is it faster to make all the titles with that black box because they have a SOP that says you just this font, this Pika, this everything, boom, 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 go on next. I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
they
they're
have maybe they have an old printing press where they have to put the blocks in and then crank it down.
They were typesetting.
I think what it is they're trying to be fancy. They're trying to be, oh, we're going to be all artistic and have these boxes around our titles, and it's a bad experiment, and hopefully they fix it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I will play devil's advocate in the sense that it might look better in real life than it does in these scanned copies.
Well, obviously not. If we have a guy who's writing a letter about how bad it is,
Yeah, I mean, I was just playing devil's advocate. That's all. I didn't disagree with him.
Shut up, you devil.
Yeah, we don't allow devils on this show.
That's right.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah, it was
Are
just
you done?
I didn't want to
talk
cut him
about
off.
fonts and
We went on one of our tangents. I didn't want to cut him off.
no, but I thank you, Pat, for giving me the floor to the length that I needed it. But now I will relinquish control.
The gentleman from Canada, your time is up. Let's go to page 24.
Grave Encounters.
Mr. Pike, you are over your time.
Grave
Encounters. Look, this typeset you can read.
You can read that a mile away.
Yeah.
So this
why aren't
nice
they all like
little
this? That's weird.
3-page, 2.5-page article I love because it's our wheelhouse. It's just nitty gritty, nice little random encounter.
I would like you to. I would like you to to say the names of the people who wrote this article, please.
Nick Kopitzinis and Patrick Gostigan.
Thank you.
Be put on the spot, and you
did pretty
that
good.
might not be.
It probably isn't right, but it's good.
Well,
good attempt.
Kopsinis is probably Greek.
Yes.
And I have a bunch of Greek friends, so.
And Nick's a pretty Greek name too. So
Gostigan might be Irish.
No, it's Gostigan.
Scottish, maybe. Who knows?
Either
maybe
way,
maybe it's Welsh.
Good. That was a very good off the top of your head.
I don't know.
I take pride in correct pronunciation sometimes. Now that we're back on track, we're back to an article that fits our very description of a good article. This one is 2.5 pages, and it's a nice little random encounter chart that are specific to graveyards and crypts. I think it was put together fairly nicely. It even gives you the time of day.
Yeah.
If you want to be one of those guys, let's go out and hunt vampires at midnight because, that's how scary movies start.
And the graveyard can be a typical graveyard all the way to an extra haunted graveyard.
Yeah, or evil enchanted graveyard, like
everything in between. A normal graveyard
and phases of the moon too. That matters too.
It's.
So I thought it was a nicely put together little article. It gives you a little bit.
A little
if you
useful.
really wanted to.
Yeah, it's some tables for random encounters in a graveyard.
I think this is a great table actually. If you wanted to do a one-off little adventure, you guys are walking through the graveyard. Let's take a little sidetrack and. I didn't have the whole encounter made, so let's just sidetrack you here.
A boggart shows up.
Yeah, a boggart.
I found this magazine had a lot of these little quick hit articles. Like it's a big difference from what you usually get of way too long articles. So
yeah,
it's nice.
But this is what I like to see.
Yeah.
The witch one wasn't so bad, but it was long.
Yeah, maybe that's why there's just a bunch of smaller ones because the witch one was so long.
Yeah, you can actually probably meet the witch in the graveyard. Does she show up in there?
There's a table for humans you can find because I remember there was pranksters you could run into. So maybe a witch is in there. Let me see. Men, caretakers, clerics, mourners. No witches.
Oh, there's a lycanthrope subtable.
There is a Gultrit. Anyways.
Yeah, that would be some real bad luck if you stumbled into a devil lord just in a graveyard when you're just like.
Well, I just saw Death Knight somewhere.
Trying to make a cut through to save some time.
I assume you just be like, I'm not making a deal with you, and go about your business.
Yeah.
Just put that fiddle away.
All right. Short and to the just like this article, short and sweet.
Yes, my next one's
Uh,
short and sweet also.
what do you got, Mr. Harper?
52. You can't tell what it is
Ghosts.
because it's
Oh
just a
God, this is the worst one ever.
it's a it's a hit, but where by Alex Curio.
How did you see that?
Because I read it
You
on
want-
the table of contents.
He
Oh,
goes up to the table of contents and figures out by page.
like I crossed my eyes at one point, thinking maybe it was one of those puzzles where you need to cross your eyes.
I saw a sailboat.
Yes, it's not a ship; it's a sailboat.
Oh,
Yeah, this is hit tables that this guy's trying to add hit tables to AD&D, and I love the idea. I love the idea of hit tables. It's a great idea. It just overcomplicates every system. I always try to add it into systems I make. There's no easy way to do it.
There isn't. I mean, I remember when Shadowrun first was doing that too, and they just made combat go on forever.
Yeah, it always just slows everything down. You just got to assume, okay, guess what? It's just a general idea of what your hit where your armor is and everything. You can't be that modular.
Maybe you could use a hit table if you get a crit, maybe, but that's a big maybe.
Yeah, this
for
is yeah. It's a like I love the hit dice. Like there's an actual die with like all different body parts on it. That's easy. You could do that, but doing this and then it goes down to even all different types of animals and monsters.
yeah.
Their hit tables. It's like, well, you'd have to do that for every single one, and it's way too much.
God. Yeah, why would you do a snapping turtle?
I was on board for the first part of the article where it was like talking about hitting and stuff, and some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't. But then when it was like, okay, well, certain monsters would have, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, what's he gonna do? You would have humanoid, you would have like quadrupeds, you would have
nope.
And I scroll down and it's like, oh no, the frog hemoth is.
Why why are lions and dinosaurs together, but then you have all separate things for other things? Like why isn't
it all come from Africa?
Why isn't a belay with the all that? It's four-legged. It's not that different,
So unless every animal entry into a monster manual had their hit table included with it, and then you would be able to look at it, then I was like, this has become untenable. This is you've gone too far. I'm sorry, you've lost me.
Yeah, it's a losing battle to do hit table, especially in AD&D.
No, I do agree with you too, though. Hit tables would be nice if someone can find a happy medium that would not bog the system down.
Well, using Roll20 be easy enough. You hit, and then it could have it in the program where you hit.
Yeah.
Like that's the easy way to do it. But not to mention, okay, you hit there. Well, you rolled this. Well, that doesn't get through then because you have this armor there. Like that's such.
You hit me in the right arm, but I lost my right arm seven campaigns ago.
Or I shot you in the wrist. You don't have armor there. What? No, that doesn't make sense. No. Anyways, yeah. So hit tables, love them, just don't work. So who are we on to, Jack?
I think we're on to Mr. Fike.
Oh, okay. Well, I am done because we've done all of the we've all done a 2-article maximum. So
yes. So that leads me to believe then it is Rob's 3rd article.
You don't have any more articles, Pat?
I have one more.
It's your turn. Yeah.
I've lost control.
It's lost control again.
So we are going to go to page 38 because, of course, we can't pass up this article.
Yeah, I thought you'd pick this one.
We finally got another ecology by Dr. Greenwood, and this time he's got an assistant. His lab tech, Kurt Martin, has now joined him in the ecology of the Remoraz. There's something I think, the Remoraz, is maybe the most known creature, but least used. Is that a safe sentence?
Well, it's one of the OG ones, right?
Yeah, because there's some things in here that Dr. Greenwood put in that I did not know. Like looking at the old art, you would think that the thing could actually lift itself up and rear itself like a kind of a worm kind of deal, but apparently cannot. It uses the wings on the sides of its head to raise its head and neck so it can attack by diving down.
But a lot of the art I see doesn't have that particular characteristic.
Yeah.
Like I like the art for this.
The one in the D&D has bat, or in the Monster Manual has bat wings, not
I always
Almost,
thought
dragonfly
I thought
wings.
they were ears
yeah, almost like anemone gills or
or
something.
Yeah.
Not
frills. Yeah.
necessarily insect
So,
wings
which
like
never
this.
led me to believe that it was actually wings
I didn't
to
think they were wings. I thought
rear
they were
up and attack.
ears
I didn't
or
think so either.
yeah.
So that was one of the cool things I saw.
What do they call that in
Uh,
on dinosaurs? They call it the crest, not the crest, but they have a name for it. Same
right,
idea.
whoever is a paleontologist, let us know.
Anyways, I never knew that
That
was
frill
insect
that
wings.
pops out when they kill Newman.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I don't remember reading in the Monster Manual too is that its eyes are the most vulnerable of. I guess it's got a very
Oh,
chitness part. The eyes, and then the in between the segments.
does
Otherwise, the thing is hard to kill.
do we have a hit table for that?
No, we'd have to go to page whatever that was.
It was on the hit table.
It was, yeah.
Oh yeah, they did have a rumor as on the hit table. I did see it. And I think what they do mention in the Monster Man is that the rumor is a kind of cold worm, like it hunts in, or its habitat is up in the frosty reaches, so like Canada.
No,
Yeah.
So you
I'd
might
like
have
to,
a Ramirez in your backyard for all you know.
I'd like to say that Pat is currently, wow, you're about the same latitude as
Yeah,
us.
it's cold AF right now. I can tell you that. But I guess the Ramirez lives in 3 states. It's got a dormant,
Oh,
it's got a
I thought it
cold,
was like
and
New
it's got a
York,
heated.
New Jersey,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's got 3 states. It lives in Chicago,
Yeah.
which is not a state.
yeah, I was
It
gonna say
lives
Chicago.
in
As much as you think Chicago's the whole state, it is not the state.
it lives in Philadelphia, also not a state.
And New York City.
Oh.
Oh,
This could be a state, could be a city.
it's tricky.
Um,
It's tricky. Down
Always
But it-
Sunny in Philadelphia does a bit where Charlie doesn't know that Philadelphia is not the state, and he's going, Pittsburgh. Yeah. It's also in Pennsylvania. Well, yeah. But how is that? Because Philadelphia. Yeah, that's very funny.
So I guess it uses a lot of energy burning, so it spends most of its time in a dormant state, and then heats up, which I guess is telltale when you know you're going to be attacked by Mars. Is like a heated line runs down its back as it starts to heat up its energy, so it become active and kill. And then whatever it kills is what it uses to store the energy to attack again next
I can
time
relate.
around. So, actually, a very good ecology. Back up to specs for Dr. Greenwood. I don't know what parts his lab assistant Kurt Martin added, but it's all good. Thanks for the ecology then from our longtime listener, longtime friend.
Excellent.
Some would say a just shy of being a member of this organization. He's
It's
just
true.
an honorary member
Honor
of the
him,
Dragon Tome.
most likely.
My next
So
article,
what do you got, Rob?
it's on page 42.
40 dose.
This is a quick one, but it's just combined generation, character generation tables all in one place. And it's literally that. It's all from every different of the books. They put all the character generation tables in one area.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish more games did this. That
Page and a half. It's the best.
and so, it doesn't have everything, but it's got all the race like
Got all
mods
the
and all that
pertinent
stuff.
stuff in it. Yeah.
It's the thing that like character generation is always hard. Like a lot of games do it differently. I know Cyberpunk's really annoying how they do it, but this
You don't like their Cyberpunk way?
no, it's like just don't walk me through it. Just and they have like 3 different ways, and they're trying to tell you all 3 different ways at the same time. It's like no, just don't do that. Anyways, this is all the charts that you need to know right off the bat.
I do like them when they're all in one place because you have to go through the table of contents or the index to find the right chart you're looking for.
And it even has like all the minimum ability scores required and things like that.
I mean, the first edition Player's Handbook was horrible with its charts and tables. They were
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, so this is like I say, I wish more game systems just had like cheat sheets like this with everything together. But yeah, that's
I actually thought this was going to be a Jack article. That's why I didn't put it down.
Jack. Jack only picks 2 articles. He's lazy.
I thought this would have been one of the 2,
I
especially since it's only a page and a half.
I think it served the purpose because the D&D is a living entity at this point that's progressing and books are coming out and there's no internet. You couldn't. This would be like a very valuable resource at the time with all the books to condense everything and I think maybe the fact that it's getting done here is because it's probably being done behind the scenes for
Second edition. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
This is exactly the kind of thing that's happening for second edition.
But this is
Yeah.
All right, so I have a kind of a last article, but I'm gonna say out a page, and Rob, if you did it,
I'm gonna yell at you because it's probably my last one.
It's probably page 80, right?
It is indeed. This is a funny story about this one.
My notes actually says BattleTech leave for Rob.
Yes, it's running grown.
The only thing I want to do is point out the authors, Margaret Weiss.
Well, that's the interesting thing because what this is, it's not an article. It's all it is a preview for a future release. It's technical readout 3026, which comes out in 87, so a year from now. And all it's literally exactly pictures. Everything is from that book. So it's just them putting the book out. But the weird thing is, the book isn't written by Margaret Weiss. It's written by Kevin Steen and Tracy Hickman, which is so weird. It confused the hell out of me. I was like, what? Obviously, Hickman and Weiss are very connected, but it's so strange that this is by them, and yet the book was written by Hickman and Stein. So it's so weird. But yeah, this is literally, it's just vehicles for
I didn't realize this was from the technical readout.
Yeah, it's vehicles from BattleTech, but it is literally just pages
Does
from
it
the book.
say anywhere that it's from the tech, or did they just put it out there and said, look at these cool things?
Yeah, it's look at these cool things. Meanwhile, it's exactly like what's going to.
Because I was looking at it, and I don't remember reading saying that this was an excerpt.
Because it isn't. It doesn't say anything about about this technical readout that's coming out next year. But
yeah,
I was like,
as they would say, oh, this is a teaser for, or hey, the upcoming book. Here is a little.
Yeah, doesn't say anything about that. And because I started reading it, I'm like, well, these are all real vehicles. Like, this isn't just some fan made thing. And then I looked at the authors. I'm like, well, those are real people. And then I looked up the book. I'm like, well, Kevin Steen wrote that book or co-wrote it. But yeah, so this is the first. What it is the first time these vehicles have been seen anywhere, which is interesting for the BattleTech world. But it's some famous weapon system, especially the Shrek, the
PPC carrier.
Yeah, the 3-barreled PPC thing. That's like the most famous vehicle in BattleTech. So them and LRM launchers. But yeah, pretty interesting that it's just a strange artifact that it's not really an article. It's a preview, but they don't mention it as a preview, and it's written by the wrong people. So I'm confused.
All right. So, are you done with ads, Mr. Harper?
Articles. I do want to say that on page page 66. It's all about the Inhumans, and my question is: does anyone actually like the Inhumans?
I didn't hate the Inhumans. I liked Black Bolt, and I was iffy on Medusa, and I liked the dog.
Jack, do you have any words on Inhumans?
I just think that you guys are talking crazy because they eliminated the sci-fi from the magazine for 3 months now, and you've started talking about BattleTech and now Marvel Files. It's all gone, guys. It's not here anymore.
Sure, it is. It's right on page.
Wait, am I having a delusion? It's not actually.
It's right on page 66 out of page 166 out of 108.
Yep.
I don't know what to tell you.
Inhumans are the worst section.
I know what they've gotten rid of was the Ares section. I haven't seen an Ares section.
I think this is all stuff that was going to be an Ares section that they just had like a pile of stuff and they're just trying to get rid of it now. They're just like, we have it. We had to publish it, so we paid for it. I think that's all my articles.
Right. So then let's go to ads, and I will start the ads.
Okay.
Page 27.
27.
Coming next month, Traveler 2300
Yeah, the sequel.
Is this a new version? Because I don't know, because I don't never played Traveler.
I haven't played Traveler either, but this is the new version. Yes.
Because there's Traveler 2000 is the other ads I seen. So I was like, huh, what's the difference?
Yeah, I think it's just V2. Or
Well,
maybe
this one says mankind discovers the stars. Does this mean they go into space now?
they're always in space.
Well,
Traveler's
this
always in
is
space.
But this
yeah.
says mankind discovers the stars. Do they leave their galaxy then?
No, I think it's just the tagline for space game. It's not like a sequel, as in it continues on. It's just version
Well,
2.
I'm just saying, why would you put that out there if you already discovered the stars?
Was it originally 20
It was
Traveler
Travel
2000?
2000.
Now
There's
this is
there's an actual
20
Travel 2000 ad in here somewhere. And I'm
Now this is Traveler
No, there's
2300.
There's Twilight
So,
2000. Are you thinking of Twilight 2000? That's a different game.
yes, that's the post-apocalyptic.
oh maybe
This is Traveler 2300.
Let's see the versions of Traveler here.
oh it is Twilight 2000 I saw,
Yeah,
and it was
Twilight
also made by GW.
GDW.
Oh, so then maybe I was mistaken.
Ah,
Stupid me and the words.
well, Twilight and Traveler
Yeah, so it's
start with a T.
Traveler, and then it's funny. Traveler 2300 isn't even listed here, so I don't even know what that is.
No,
Because it
maybe
hasn't-
maybe
it
it's
hasn't come out
maybe
yet,
it's one of
Rob.
those books that never made it. They advertised and was like, you know
Oh,
what?
there you go. Oh, the game system is derived from Twilight 2000, so it's the same game system as Twilight 2000.
Oh,
Oh.
Traveler, the New Era was at least.
okay.
So it is associated, but it's not. It doesn't say anything about Traveler 2300, which is funny.
Maybe it never came out, or they just renamed it just Traveler.
Yeah, no, there's something called Mega Traveler that's coming out in next year, so maybe that's what this is. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Traveler has so many books though, so this
It
could.
says,
For all
it
we know,
says
this
coming
is just,
November.
Yeah.
It says coming November, so we're in October right now.
Traveler, like you look in the Traveler section at like Games Plus, there's like thousands of books,
Oh yeah, I don't even like looking at it because there's so many books.
and it attracts me sometimes because there is like Babylon 5 ones and stuff from Traveler, but I'm like I must resist because there's way too much.
All right, Rob, what do you got for an ad?
I got so many ads.
Oh Jesus!
We're gonna go.
I want to put Jack last since he's only got one.
You, the two of you've opened this genie now. You've hoisted your own petard. Rob's going to go running wild. 15 ads now.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I wish you
What?
would do at least 2 ads, Jack. One of these days, I would like you to do 2 ads and 3 articles. Maybe for my birthday.
Oh,
Okay. March is a long way away.
Yeah.
it's coming up
So
quick.
you got time to warm up.
Page 59, people. This is a big one.
Oh, left this one for you.
Robotech, the role-playing game from Palladium. It's obviously Robotech in role-playing game form, but I love how it says "Don't settle for imitations." Obviously, a shot at BattleTech because the unseen are Robotech, and the lawsuit is beginning at this point. So I think that's what that little shot is.
Oh yeah, probably the rifleman.
This is a Phoenix Hawk, or
No, I meant in the Mech Warrior cover.
well, yeah, there's tons. Yeah, it's they almost all the remember the one ad was all unseen. So, but this is a Valkyrie or a Veritech, mattering which show you're watching, and it's the Phoenix Hawk or the Stinger or the Wasp. They're all very similar looking, but yeah. But I have all the Robotech books. I collected them all, and
You've got the new one. We have the new one.
I even have new
The
one.
one that's the one we kickstarted, right?
Strange Machine Games is the new one, but this is all the Palladium stuff. I have all the Palladium one versions, and it's the beginning of it. Robotech, yeah, not Robotech Tactics, which Palladium did later and pissed off a lot of people.
Oh Jesus! Let's not open that can of worms.
But brings back good memories, seeing the old classic Robotech font and everything
With the pew 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 gun.
with the E that doesn't have the cross. It's a classic. So that was my article, or my ad, my one.
All right, Jack. What do you got for us? What nostalgia do you bring to us?
If we could go to 73.
This was one of my ads, so that cuts down on one of my ads. Immortals.
Immortals set for Dungeons and Dragons. Set
this-
number 5.
The last of the Beckman.
The last. Yep.
So this is for the highest
I
level
in
of
Beckman.
characters that you would have dealing
That's supposed
with.
to be gold.
It is gold. Yep.
It doesn't look very gold to me. It looks beige.
When you actually have the gold with the book, it actually is gold. When you actually, obviously the scan probably wasn't very good, or the picture isn't very good, but it is actually gold. Gold.
Gold. Yes. So this is the highest levels of characters that you would have and how to deal with them, and their
Godlike characters.
yes, and so that is the completion of what should be for standard Dungeons and Dragons. This is not advanced Dungeons and Dragons for your characters now.
This is the last of D&D.
Until
Before you go into
AD&D, until AD&D becomes D&D again.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
third
true.
edition? Is it third edition they switch back? I think it is. To be in
Yeah,
just
and then what do they
D&D.
call this one? Classic D&D or something like that?
They
I
say
forget what
nobody
what
plays.
nomenclature they give it to.
Beck me.
Classic.
No,
Coke.
I meant as opposed to D&D versus this D&D. Like this
Yeah.
is
Probably classic.
This-
I would think.
this is Coke. This is D&D clear.
No, this is OG D&D. This still
Yeah.
got the Coke in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's got the
3 and
little narcotic
3.5
kick.
is the
New
Zima
Coke.
compared
That's
to
the new Coke. Tastes weird.
All right.
Don't like it.
don't like it. It's
It's got too much stuff
Only-
in it. It seems,
only lasted.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby tried to promote it and it didn't work.
and it's got too
You
much
can't
stuff in
taste
it.
the roof. You can't taste the roofie in it.
It's,
What is this? Aspartame? Ugh.
Okay, so
Off color.
my ad. Let's go to page 45.
Oh, that's my other one. So we're done. Yeah.
Herb's Auto Duel.
Never knew this existed either.
RPG for Car Wars. I don't remember this either. I mean, I was a huge fan of Car Wars. I've had, I don't know how many versions of Car Wars. I have the latest version of Car Wars, who we talked with Steve Jackson that Rob doesn't remember, if you remember from previous episodes. We literally had a 30-minute conversation with the guy about the whole thing.
I've met a lot of famous people at Gen Con that I don't remember.
So this was the RPG, and I mean, it's GURPS. Didn't hate GURPS, but it never tickled my fancy to
There's
learn
a lot of
GURPS.
GURPS. Yeah. GURPS was everything.
So I may or may not try and find a version of
yeah,
Auto Duel
this is interesting because
just to put on the shelf. I don't think I'll ever play it.
I
but
did
it would
love
be nice
the-
to have.
the kind of world of Car Wars was really interesting. Like
Yeah.
it was like post-apocalyptic, but everybody had these futuristic cars, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a really interesting world. So
Like you didn't go backwards, but everything was in ruins.
yeah,
The tech still stayed around.
I remember making the cars,
Yeah.
and everything associated was so much fun that I don't believe I ever completed a game
no,
of
I
Car
don't
Wars.
think so either. Yeah,
But every time it was going to, let's make this stuff. So maybe that says
Maybe we'll play the new version of Car Wars, and maybe we might make a car.
no,
Now, that being said, in the new version, it's just you pick a chassis and you add cards to the chassis. So it's not like as complicated as the original, where you had to build and then you
Points.
had to map out. Yeah,
oh
but
yeah, you had to
maybe-
figure out. That's right. You had to. Wasn't there little squares you had to fill?
there's squares. You
Yeah.
had to make it almost like a Starfleet battle
Yeah.
ship.
but maybe that means that the role-playing game has all the aspects of the world and the without the actual Car Wars game.
So I'm on the fence. I'm going to wait till after Christmas to decide whether or not I'm going to grab it.
Wow. Like I say, I've never even heard of this. So
I didn't either. And so
you should just check out Games Plus. They might have it. They
They
have a lot
maybe.
of stuff.
I know. I mean, you just got to check out that glass cabinet. That glass cabinet has
I
a
don't
lot
think
of-
they have a whole group section. Like it could be in there. I never look in the group section because I'm all like I don't care, but it could be in there. Just like I
Yeah.
say, there's a huge traveler section that I'm like, yeah.
No, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
I assume it's like a lot of
Traveler.
I wonder if you have to own GURPS to play this, or is it it's old?
I think it's this GURP system and it's its own thing. It's like a, I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, you have to get the
It's
GURPS
like-
basic set and these add on to it.
Yeah, this
Is that
would
what
be
it
the
says?
supplement.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that hurts me. Now I'm less inclined to get it.
Yeah, a
Oh.
lot of them are like that. Like I know, yeah, there's a lot of games that do that now. That's all my ads because that was my 2. You guys took my other 2. So,
Oh, all right.
Jack, I only had 1 ad.
There you
Are
go.
you
There
happy
you go,
now?
Jack?
It's almost like there's some structure.
All right. Well, now Jack is feeling a little more himself. We did 1 ad each. I had 2 though.
We shared one.
We shared 1. So, well, hope everyone got good stuff for Christmas.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Oh, this is New Year's. This is New Year's Eve.
This is the New Year's. So Happy New Year. So, well, I guess let's just call it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was a
I mean,
whimper.
we said it. We said Happy New Year. We talked about ads.
We're quite drunk now. We need to
We're
go
on
to bed.
Engine. We talked about Bill Cosby and roofing people.
Yeah,
So
it's gone too far.
I don't know what else to talk about.
No, issue 114. It's done. It's in the
Put it to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well then, for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host Chopper,
and I'm Jack.
I'm Rob.
and we'll see you next week. Happy New Year.